Australia has some pretty tough laws about biological and chemical weapons. If you publish material that can aid someone in creation of these, even if that's not your intent, then you can still be liable for assisting someone in the commission of a crime. It was the first model that they rated as high risk in helping novices potentially make dangerous biological and chemical substances. So the Australian Federal Police, they're kind of like the equivalent of the FBI. They investigate things like war crimes, international drug trade, human trafficking, biological and chemical weapons. So we have actually filed a report with them. We've also written a letter to the Attorney General, the Federal Attorney General, requesting that she investigate this. OpenAI, again, to their credit, they do understand that there is a potential risk with this model. The question then becomes, have they done enough to ensure that their model is safe? And why should we take their word for it rather than regulators?
OpenAI's recent release of ChatGPT agent has raised some questions, as their report mentioned it had an increased risk of helping with the creation of bioweapons. And PauseAI Australia is asking the question if this breaches some of the laws of Australia in concordance with international laws around bioweapons. And we're joined today by David Gould of PauseAI Australia. And how are you doing today, David?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you.
Good, that's great. Thanks for joining us. So can you just explain to me first a bit about how you first became involved with AI safety and with PauseAI in Australia?
I've always been interested in technology. I was vaguely aware of sort of AI risk. I read the Wait But Why post from 2015 or 2016 and sort of just noted it. Always keenly following AI progress, AlphaGo and all Alpha Star and all of that sort of stuff. I'm a teacher. I also played around with Andrew Ng's Coursera course on Introduction to Machine Learning and built some toy models myself, just out of interest. I'm not really a tech person at all, but the whole systems were making it very easy for people to do it themselves. And as an educator, I moved into our Board of Senior Secondary Studies here in the ACT, and the big issue, that was in 2023, and the big issue was, well, how is AI and ChatGPT going to impact education? And so I started, reading a lot more of that because I was looking to try and help write the policy and get involved there. And Eliezer Yudkowsky's Shut It All Down letter, that was a big thing for me. But I still wasn't really, I was skeptical. I asked some questions actually on the Less Wrong forum. It seemed a little bit far-fetched to me, even though I'm a big reader of science fiction, so something should probably have clicked a little bit earlier that maybe this is potentially an issue. Again, I guess I got the feeling that this is still a long way away. I hadn't really had that moment yet. And then basically spending 2024, I went back into the classroom and just started thinking about the impact on the students that I was teaching. Again, still thinking in terms of education and jobs and all that sort of stuff. So I started reading and looking at a lot more, and it suddenly clicked for me that, hang on, there's more to this than just jobs. This could lead to human extinction. That's what experts are saying. So maybe I should actually look into doing something about this. And PauseAI was basically the first such organisation that came across my radar. At the end of 2024, jumped straight into that, contacted, found another member, Mark Brown, here in Australia, in Melbourne, and he became national co-director, and I'm was for a little while the only person in Canberra. We've got a couple more now, which is good. We're still very, very small in Australia. I think we have 6 active members or something. Although we do have a few more than that on our email list. But
awesome. Well, I suppose that's 6 more than we had 2 years ago. So
yes,
things are growing.
Yes, that's right.
With OpenAI's ChatGPT agent, their new model, Can you just explain to us what their report said with respect to the bioweapons risk?
Okay, so basically it was the first model that they rated as high risk in the sort of the NBC category, and helping novices potentially make dangerous biological and chemical substances. They said that, a lot of people say, and this is even in the article that I just sent that has been posted on our action, they say that, people can just look this stuff up on the internet. Because obviously the models are trained on the internet data, so therefore you must be able to find this information on the internet. But OpenAI themselves, basically they say, counterfactually, the use of this model can help novices. So in other words, novices would not be able to get the same assistance just by searching the internet. And one of the main reasons for that is you can interact with this model. In other words, if something is going wrong, if you were trying to make a biological or chemical agent and something isn't working, you can ask it a question. And it's very unlikely that if you just ask the internet a question, you don't really know what you're looking for if you're a novice. These models can actually step you through. If you've ever used them for programming, you know that they can step you through a problem. I'm not a very good programmer. I can use it to help me teach programming if necessary, just because it can step me through what to do. And OpenAI, again, to their credit, they are aware of this. They tried to put in lots of mitigations and so forth. So they do understand that there is a potential risk with this model. So that's basically what their information is telling us. There is a potential risk. They have tried to mitigate the risk. The question then becomes, have they done enough to ensure that their model is safe? And why should we take their word for it rather than regulators? That's basically the big issue for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have PauseAI Australia has raised the question as to whether their new model is in violation of some of the laws in Australia relating to bioweapons. Can you just explain what these laws are and how OpenAI's actions may be in violation of them?
Okay, so Australia has some pretty tough laws about biological and chemical weapons. They can even and we are signatories to non-proliferation, agreements, internationally. The federal authorities here take it very, incredibly seriously. So to the point where sometimes I think that they go overboard. Like just recently, they prosecuted a young mentally ill man for trying to get some very small amounts of nuclear material via the internet. Like he was never going to actually get this material, but they went to the extent of prosecuting him, trying to get him imprisoned, to the extent that at the end the court ruled that they had gone a bit too far and with this whole case, and so that's how seriously the federal government takes these things. Regarding our laws, the main thing is basically if you publish material that can aid someone in creation of these, even if that's not your intent, then you can still be liable for assisting someone in the commission of a crime. Particularly if you were, careless in providing that information and didn't take steps to ensure that the information couldn't be used in such a way. Now, with regard to OpenAI, it's unclear how, we're not lawyers, and it's unclear how the Australian laws would interact with an international company that's not based in Australia, that has, no direct ties to Australia. But again, that's part of the problem. If our laws have no capacity to protect Australians from models that are dangerous, then that shows that our laws are inadequate. And again, that provides support for the idea that we need some sort of international treaty that encompasses all of this and prevents companies just making decisions. Oh yes, this is safe, when we don't know precisely how they tested it. We don't know what mitigations they chose not to put in place. We also know that, and they admit themselves, that pretty much all of the models that have been released by all of the companies can be jailbroken, so that they can be gotten to do things that they're supposedly not allowed to do under the guardrails that they put in place. So they haven't got they can't guarantee that these things are safe, that they can't provide novices the ability to create biological and chemical agents that are dangerous. So as I said, it's possible that they are perfectly fine with the law. In fact, I think it's probable that, but again, that simply could be because our laws are not strong enough. They don't do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. And which public bodies in Australia have you raised this issue with?
So the Australian Federal Police. So they're a lot of people get. So they're not. I guess in terms of they're kind of like the equivalent of the FBI, and they are the ones responsible for, they investigate things like war crimes, the international drug trade, human trafficking, biological and chemical weapons. That's what they're basically formed for. So we have actually filed a report with them. We've also written a letter to the Attorney General, the Federal Attorney General, requesting that she investigate this, and the Attorney General's Department. And we've also written to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, asking that she investigate whether they are in breach of the obligations of the US under the treaties regarding biological and chemical weapons. Again, we don't know that they are in breach of these laws, in breach of these treaties, but the fact is, at the moment, they are the ones deciding that whether they are or not, and that's not good enough.
Mm-hmm. And ideally, what would you like these authorities and the politicians in Australia? What would you like them to do going forward about the increased risk of bioweapons from OpenAI and other AI companies?
Yes. So basically, we think, first of all, there needs to be a national regulator at the very least. So the Labor government last term promised that they were going to have an AI safety institute, an Australian AI safety institute. They reneged on that promise. They didn't follow through. We and other organisations, so Australians for AI Safety as well, allies with PauseAI. So they're pushing hard for that. So that is the first ask. We must get an Australian AI Safety Institute. The second thing is we are pushing very hard for PauseAI's agenda, an international treaty that pauses AI until systems are in place to ensure that these AIs are safe. Obviously, we're looking more broadly than just being able to help people make biological and chemical weapons, but we need to begin somewhere, and that work needs to begin now, given the pace of AI development. As a maths teacher, I was fascinated that, with the recent gold medal performance by OpenAI model and Google model, but also alarmed that, again, this was something that people were not predicting for this year, or at very low probabilities, and yet the gold medal has fallen. And it's also revealed new potential generalizable capabilities in these AI systems. So, yes, we're basically trying to push as hard as we can for a national regulation and an international treaty.
Mm-hmm. And what is your message in this campaign to OpenAI directly? Is there anything that you'd like them to do? Is there any message you'd like them to take home?
Basically, we would want them to also push for regulation and push for an international treaty. We know that in the past, they have, their leaders have said there is huge risk with AI systems, and yet they are fueling the race. And then, similar to the other AI companies, basically saying, oh, well, if we don't build it, someone else will, and I'm sure we can make it safe, even though they actually don't have any plan for how they're going to do that. So what we would like is for them to come on board and say, okay, let's join this approach to help protect humanity. If they're saying that they want a good future from AI, and they truly, believe that, and they know that there are risks, then they have to take that path. Otherwise, they are acting immorally.
And so, for other Australians watching this interview, how can they get involved with this campaign, and how can they get involved with PauseAI Australia in general?
So, the main thing that we've been doing is contacting politicians. Obviously, with this campaign specifically, we've been contacting journalists. In terms of, and based on the research that we've done and the actual impact that we have been seeing, individual people speaking directly to their politicians is a winning strategy. It's going to take a while, but it seems to be actually slowly working. I've spoken personally to pretty much all of our local politicians, and while there are some that are incredibly sceptical and very hard to reach, many of them are actually quite open to the message and can see the concern. We, particularly when we say, well, it's not just some crazy maths teacher in Canberra saying this, it's the heads of the AI companies, it's the top AI researchers that are saying this, that there is this potential extinction level risk, and that seems to go well. So if you're someone watching this, you don't necessarily have to join PauseAI. Just contact a politician, a local politician. So it could be a state government, could be federal government. Contact them directly, their office directly, and just have the conversation with them about what people are saying about artificial intelligence. However, we would like you to join PauseAI. Now we have a website, so you can just basically go to PauseAI website, and that can direct you to the Australian branch. We have a Facebook page, PauseAI Australia, on Facebook. We also have a Discord. You can and basically you can connect with that through the PauseAI webpage also. So yeah, come and join us.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I think contacting politicians is just pretty robustly good. We've seen it pay off in with many different campaigns now, like Control AI's campaign, for example. They had over 40 UK politicians signed up. With our campaign about DeepMind's broken promises, their failure to stick to their frontier AI safety commitments, we've had a huge degree of appetite from politicians to kind of join onto this campaign. So I think it's a very good thing. We need to do it in as many countries as possible, and Australia is one of them. So best of luck with the rest of this campaign, and I hope it goes well. And thank you for talking with us today and explaining your campaign.
No problem.